Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City of Carpinteria Architectural Review Board meeting of Thursday, August 27th. I'm going to call the meeting to order. First business tonight, I would like to welcome Jojo Fantoni to the board. We're very happy to have him, an architect who can help us help guide our decision making, and I'm sure will be a wonderful asset to the board. If we could do roll call, please.
Chair Blakemore.
Here.
Board Member Fantoni.
Here.
Board Member Little.
Here.
Board Member Wolf.
Here.
And Vice Chair O'Connor, who is absent.
Thank you.
We're having trouble here.
We can't hear over here.
Okay, I'll talk a little louder. How's that? Can you hear me now? All right.
How about me? Wow. Okay, how about me? Can you hear me now?
Okay. Well,
I
we just,
apologize.
to catch you up, we just confirmed we're all actually here, so you didn't miss anything important yet. So, right now is the point, the time of our meeting where we open to public comment for items not otherwise on the agenda tonight. Is anyone here with a comment on an item that is not on the agenda? I don't see anybody in the room. Is there anyone on Zoom?
At this time, if you would like to make a public comment, please raise your hands and we will allow you to speak. At this time, there is no public comment.
All right, thank you very much. We have just one item tonight, but we do have some matters by staff in consideration of staff and letting them go home before the whole meeting goes about. We're going to go ahead and let staff present a couple small items to get some feedback on, and then we'll address the main item on the agenda this evening. All right.
Good evening. I'm going to present a new sign proposal for 4745 Carpinteria Avenue. Do we have Steve in the audience? Hi, Steve. He's with Conejo Valley Sign Company. You're welcome to join them here at the table. I'll review the sign proposal. All right, so this is for the new mixed-use development that was recently completed on Carpinteria Avenue between 9th and Carpinteria. They are proposing one illuminated sign facing Carpinteria Avenue. The sign will be installed about 12 feet above grade. It will be a set of individual front and halo illuminated channel letters. The illumination will be dimmable. Each letter would be mounted 1.5 inches off the wall. The spacers would be painted to match the fascia. The total sign area would be under 18 square feet. Each letter would have a 3-inch deep aluminum brushed silver return, 3/4 inch silver trim capping, and the visible faces of each letter will be white acrylic. The sign is consistent with our requirements. It's placed in an area that's allowed. It's less than the maximum 80 square feet for wall signs. There isn't an exposed raceway, and they have included a dimmer on the plans for the illuminated signs. For the board tonight, we need your thoughts on its appropriateness for the building, for the neighborhood, for the setting. In terms of the future, this is a mixed-use development. The applicant has shared with us that the property owner intends this sign to function primarily for the residential use. They do anticipate one additional sign in the future. It is not part of this proposal, and there isn't a timeline yet of when that sign will come. But my understanding from them is that it would follow the same design as this one, and of course it would need its own sign permit and review process as well. And with that, I could take any questions that you may have.
I have one quick question in that on the graphic here, there's a little black dot by the N. Is that representing something? Is that the light backlighting it or front lighting it rather?
Yeah, that's not related to the sign proposal itself. So it's something on the rendering that I'm
That's
not sure if
existing.
Steve knows what it is. But
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for staff?
Yeah, I have one. The building address is, I know it's not part of this sign, but in terms of the big picture for the facade, it's probably good to look at the whole thing, whether the retail signage is coming or not. But in terms of what we see here, is the address illuminated as well? Okay.
Okay, Board Member Wolf, do you have any questions for staff?
I think it's probably a question for the applicant about how bright the signage is. I know it said there's a dimmer, but, how bright is this? Is this going on at dusk, or what's happening, and what time does it go off?
If you could use your microphone, I'm sorry, and you might have to turn it on if the little green light is not on.
Okay, there we go. It will be regulated on a timer, so it could go on or off, whatever. Could be off at 9 o'clock at night. As far as the lumens, it'll be a 3,000 lumen, which is a very goldish white light. So it's not like, it looks more like those lights up there, not these. This one's more like a daylight. So it's a very soft light, and then with the dimmable aspect, it can be dimmed down to where it's barely lighting.
And how, what's directly across the street?
I believe there's apartments, maybe. I'm not really.
Is it something that would glare into their windows? They'd be staring at this? Is there a necessity that it needs to be illuminated all night long?
Well, it wouldn't be all night. Like I said, it could be off at whatever you guys deem. Sometimes certain projects, they say, well, it has to be off at 9 o'clock at night. Could be, earlier. That would be something that you guys could regulate,
Okay.
Okay, so are you just looking for a recommendation from the board? Is that?
yeah, just feedback your thoughts on the project.
Did you have anything else to add to Marisol's presentation?
No.
Okay. I'll bring it back to the board. Board Member Little, do you want to give us your 2 cents?
My only comment was that, based on the time that it goes off, that we specify a certain time. The 9 o'clock has been suggested, and I think that's reasonable.
Okay. Board Member Wolf, would you like to go next?
I recognize that this is just a name of a building. This is not the commercial space at all. So sometimes I'm wondering and I wonder why everybody's putting names on their buildings lately, and what that's about, and how important is it really to illuminate it? Because this is not saying, hey, we're here, don't pass us up. This is just a building. And so I don't even know why it's illuminated at all.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's a beautiful design, and it looks appropriate, but I just don't see the reason that it's illuminated. I would think the numbers are more important than calling out Rincon.
Right.
Yes, so this sign is for the 24 apartments that are in that building, and this is a mixed-use building that also has a hotel and it has a restaurant. And so this is not only is it a sign that illuminates a use but it's also for the apartments. And it is typical in the city for us to have signs, illuminated signs for apartment buildings. It's kind of a wayfinding thing too. That way people can see it at night where it's located. And this sign was also, it looks consistent with the sign plan that was approved when the project was approved. It had standard letters that was approved by the city council, and it's on those design drawings. Just some background information to help with your deliberation.
Okay. Comments, Board Member Fantoni?
Sure. I think in terms of the signage itself, it's not an issue, just having that name there. I'm still keen on looking at the bigger picture, just because it's the whole face of the project and how all this signage relate to each other. I do agree with having more of some backlighting or something for the address itself, just for fire safety issue and all that, so fire department can find the building easily. But yeah, the font style, is that consistent with the style of the letters and the numbers as well, or is it kind of offshoot of another font style? So again, architecturally it's great, but the font style is also part of sort of the design of the project. Other than that, my only concern really is seeing how it all looks as one big facade with all the signage. Thank you.
Okay, and I support Board Member Little's and Board Member Wolf's suggestion that we put a restriction on it, that it goes off at 9 o'clock, just in consideration of the neighbors.
Sure.
But I think it's a reasonable proposal. And is that the feedback you guys need?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And there's one other, thank you so much for coming.
Steve, thank you so much.
Appreciate it. You too. And there's one other item by staff. Yay, Cindy.
And I want to thank Cindy for running the meeting last time.
Yeah.
It's great.
Just give me a second to get settled here. Thank you, Marisol. Okey-dokey. Alrighty, so this one is another Matters by Staff. Good evening, ARB members. This is the property at 4881 8th Street. If you knew Tony Stewart, the Reverend, it's her old house. And this is a photograph of the existing residence. I didn't get a chance to go out and take a picture today, so this is from Google Earth, so it's a little bit shadowed, but it's basically a vernacular, California vernacular cottage that is green with white trim right now. And the property has been sold, and the new owner is looking to do an interior remodel and then also some exterior updates to the house. No real structural alterations on the outside, so there's no additional square footage. And the doors and windows are going to be staying in the same locations for the most part, but just changing the colors to this cream, the stucco, and the horizontal siding at the tops here in the open gables would be going cream from the green, and then the new windows and doors would be the black, and then the trim, the roof vents would be black. And then new copper gutters and updates to the lighting fixtures, which I haven't seen the specifications, but we will require them to be night sky friendly. So here's the street elevation, the west elevation, the south elevation. They are proposing new doors here, but that's not visible from the street. It's to the backyard. And then the east elevation. So basically, everything's staying the same except for the colors and the, well, essentially the colors, and then the new windows and doors. So I just want your feedback on the architectural detailing, the proposed colors, and the proposed materials, meaning the windows, the metal windows, for comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. Do we have any questions for staff? No questions for staff? You want to just go straight into comments? Sure. Okay, Board Member Wolf, you get to go first.
I think it's a nice looking design. I am wondering why the two lights on either side of the front door are not symmetrical. I don't quite understand why they're different. What if they have different purposes? I feel like they should be the same design.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Good catch. Board Member Fantoni?
Same comment, actually. It just kind of draws your eye into it. In terms of looking at the existing, is there a relocation of the power line coming into the building? Seems to disappear on the rendering.
The power pole is in the right away. The power line coming in.
Yeah.
That will likely stay unless the owner opts to underground that in.
Okay. Yeah, they actually should integrate that with their architecture just to see how it really looks like with it. I mean, it's functional and utilitarian, but it's part of the design.
Right. Thank you.
Board Member Little?
I like the color scheme opposed to the green, the mint green. The power.
You gotta get a little closer.
Yeah, the power lines coming in probably will not be something that the owner would want to put the extra expense on. We have enough problem getting new construction to get their power lines underground. So, and I agree with Board Member Davis about the two lights in the front. It just doesn't make any sense why they're different.
Okay, and similar comments, I think that other light fixture might just be a remnant. I noticed there's some, the elevation notes don't really make sense with the call-outs on here either, so I'm guessing it's just a graphical error. But if we could ensure that the light fixtures do in fact match at the entry door, I think it looks like a good project. Please.
Great.
We have one more comment.
Yeah, just a couple. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
There is that garage or studio building in the back. Are they doing anything with that?
Not at this time. It's not part of the scope of work.
And lastly, are there any updates on the landscaping or new paving materials?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Okay. Have we finished matters by staff? Cindy's saying yes. Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. So we'll bring it back to the regular agenda for this evening. Has there been any ex parte communication on behalf of the board
No.
in this project? No. And we'll go ahead and have the staff presentation, and then we'll have the applicant present, and then we'll get to public comment. So I have your slips here. If anybody has a public comment slip they want to submit to Cindy or Brett, they're available. So
If you don't know, the comment slips are on the back boxes. So you just fill them out, give them to our tech, and then she'll pass them on to the chair. Thank you.
All right. Good evening again. This is the Zuvela lot split and new residence concept for 5533 Callejon Drive. And This is here for concept only. So for concept, the purpose of a concept is to allow the applicant to submit tentative plans prior to the submittal of a formal project application in order to receive early feedback from the public and advisory comments and suggestions from the city's decision makers. Public comments will be heard. The decision makers, in this case the ARB tonight, will provide feedback and comments. No vote or any other type of formal action is made at this hearing. So this is comments only, no decision will be made. Some of the members of the public need to know that clarification because they get the notice and they think it's a real project, but it's just concept. So no decisions tonight. Just the litmus test, essentially. So here's the vicinity map. Calhoun here, or excuse me, 553 Calhoun is here where the star is. So it's in the Concha Loma neighborhood. So up here is the top of the hill. And then that slopes down here towards the ocean. So this property is higher at the street level. And then it drops about 10 feet between the street and the rear property line. And then the hill continues to slope down to Canalino and then onto the train tracks in the ocean and everything else. So it's a southward sloped parcel. Southerly downward sloping parcel. And here's an aerial photo of the site itself. So this is the old Robitaille house for those of you guys that are familiar with the area. So the existing house is here. It's actually a two-story structure. From the street, it appears as one story. And then underneath on the backside, there is underneath the house, but visible from the backside and the sides is a full basement. And they have a pool. And then the proposal tonight includes a lot split to divide the 19,098 square foot lot into two lots, one of 12,097 square feet, and the new lot would be 7,001 square feet. The idea being that the existing house and pool would remain on the 12,000 square foot lot, and then this new 7,000 square foot lot would be over here in the vacant portion of the property. The existing residence is, that part of the project is a comprehensive interior and exterior remodel of the 4,133 square foot two-story residence. And then on the proposed new lot, a new residence is also proposed, which would be a new 2,800 square foot two-story single-family residence. So here is the proposed concept lot split, and this red here is the dividing line. The existing house, the pool, everything, and this they've placed the dividing line to work for the setbacks and everything for the existing residence. And then this was the new lot. Our minimum lot size is 7,000 square feet, so it's 7,001 square feet, so it does meet the minimum. And then there are, on the property, there are several easements. This right here is a drainage easement that runs through, so obviously that could not be built upon. Along the street frontage, there's another 5-foot utility easement. And then down here along the southern property line is another utility easement. So those areas are not buildable areas, in addition to the normal setbacks. Some of the easements are already in setbacks, so they really don't matter for that standpoint, but they're there. And then the existing residence this is the existing in demo for the main level. So the original house was built in 1955, and really not a lot until the new buyers, the new owners purchased it. Nothing really appeared to have been changed much since 1955. So cosmetically, the new owner has done some interior and exterior painting and some little things, but nothing major. They're waiting for this big permit to do the major renovations. Here's their proposed main level floor plan. This is where all the work's going on the interior of the house. The garage had been illegally converted to living space, and they already have actually put the garage door back. So the garage is now a garage again. And they're just making the bedrooms a little bit larger, opening the kitchen up to, the kitchen was walled in. They're opening that up to be into the living room, like, more open floor plan. Just basically updates for modern living. They are reducing the size of the deck. Well, not really reducing it. The square footage is staying about the same, but they're just making it a little bit smaller. Right now it's rectangular like this and extends out a little further. Now they're moving over here and making it like a long, more narrow deck. And then the basement level, no changes are proposed down here. I'm just sharing the space here. And the interesting thing about the basement is that there's no internal access between the first and second floors. You have to go outside and then go back inside if you want to go downstairs.
Yeah.
And then here's a street view. Here's the existing residence. And then this is the proposed elevation for the exterior alterations. As you can see, really not much is going to change, except they want to redo the front porch entry with a little higher pitched roof at the entry, just to bring a little more, make it a little more dominant feature. And then, changing the doors and the window styles out, which you'll see in a second. So these are inspirational photographs for the proposed colors and materials. So they're going for kind of like a Tudor storybook cottage style look. And then they're stone or brick veneer on the exterior with synthetic cedar shake, or fake shake as we like to call it. Wood, just stained wood doors. And then, DG and more native palette for any proposed landscaping. And copper gutters. And then the last component of the concept proposal is the proposed new residence on the proposed new 7,001 square foot lot. So the proposed residence, the upper level or the street level plan, the square footage of that level is 1,646 square feet. And it contains just one bedroom, but the primary living space is up here. And then the lower level includes the bedrooms and then a utility room down here. And that the lower level is 1,154 square feet. And here's the elevation. So like the existing house, the proposed house from the street elevation would appear as a single story with a raised foundation, with a maximum height of 70 feet, 8 inches, I believe, from the street elevation.
Sorry, can you repeat that number again?
The street elevation, from the street, it would appear as a 17-foot, 8-inch. And now, because you're asking, I'm going to double check and make sure. Yeah, 17 feet, 8 inches.
Excuse me, and what is the current elevation of the existing main house?
The existing house is about 13 feet tall. And then here's the west elevation of the proposed new residence. So that would be the side of the residence facing the existing residence. And they've built it, as I talked about earlier, there's about a 10-foot drop over the span of the property. So the new residence has been sunk in, to the hillside a little bit here, as you can see. This is the grade right here. And then the backside would appear as, would be 2 stories with patios that daylight out here. And then a deck here with large doors and windows. And then this is the south elevation, which would be the ocean view side of the house. Again, 2-story, full, straight, no eddy caking. And then the maximum height of the structure would actually be 24 and a half feet because the two-story element combined would be 24 and a half feet. And then this is the east elevation. This would be looking at the neighbor on the east side. Again, pretty much full two-story elevation here, a little nestled in the hillside, but not as much as on the other side. And then more doors and windows here as well. Mostly windows. And then keeping the Tudor contemporary cottage theme for the proposed concept new house with the open gable rolled roofs and the multi-light windows and those more charming, I guess, details you'd call them, or Richard Johnson would call them that, whimsical and charming. So here again, the synthetic cedar shake, copper gutters, and then vertical siding proposed on this one. And then here's some more inspirational images of kind of the style they're going for, of the storybook Tudor style. So discussion items for tonight are the site design, including the proposed lot split, the architectural styles and materials, size, massing, scale, and height of the proposed residence, and neighborhood compatibility. And we did receive 7 public comment letters. 3 were from Jim Conti, which is a neighbor directly to the south, and then 1 from a neighbor across the street, and 2 more. I'm not sure where they are exactly in relation to the site. And then we have neighbors here tonight as well.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. Do we have questions for staff? Board Member Wolf.
I feel like we're missing an elevation of the existing residence and the remodel, the elevation that, we only have one elevation. We have the front.
Correct. You only have one elevation. That's all we have of the proposed, where'd it go? This is the only elevation that we were provided as part of the concept package, because that's the public view or the street view of the existing
Right,
residence.
but I get the impression that the backside is important to everybody, maybe everybody in the room, the big mass of the two-story look. So
Of
that's
the
why.
existing
Yeah,
residence?
the existing. So I'd like to kind of see that, and who sees that, and what does that look like, and what would it look like with the new proposal next door? So that's why it seems like it should really be here in this presentation.
Okay. I don't know. The architect didn't give me anything ahead of time for a proposal, or for a presentation, so I don't know if they have anything up their sleeve. But we can definitely include that in the comments. But the existing residents would also have those. That would be the south elevation that would have the ocean views, and then the neighbors below would look up, and they would look down.
Okay, other questions for staff?
Are the owner or the architect here in the audience? It'd be great to have them here, I think.
Okay, come on up. Questions for staff?
Could you provide your name for us, just so?
Hello. Hi, I'm Ricardo, representing Ryan Brockett Architects and Interiors in the Zuvelas. And just a small comment on a response to that question on the backside of the elevation. Currently there is already on the backside of the main house some windows, some tall windows in that living room space, so we're just replacing them with a door to the deck. So it doesn't change much of the existing condition, but we also primarily wanted to, more than anything, get a feasibility of, the lot split before we continue further studies on the remodels and the new residence. So more than anything, kind of checking that, we can do this lot split.
Okay.
Okay,
Was-
but Ricardo, for me, it does make a difference because that's the massive side. And the massive side compared to the new proposal next to it of the massive side. So it is important, actually. And so I actually am very surprised that it's not here for us to look at. Even if it was a photo,
Okay.
little revision, that would help.
Okay, Board Member Little, did you have a question for staff?
More of a comment for staff. I toured the house when it was on the market, and the downstairs is only about 6 feet tall, it seems like. So the maximum size would be just take the first story and add 6 or 7 feet. It kind of gives you an idea of the mass of this on the backside. And from the backyard, from the pool area, it's not that large of a mass because the downstairs is so lower on the ceiling.
I have a question for staff. I've been on the board, I think, 4 years now, 5, something like that. This is the first time we've been asked to look at something that involved a lot split. Why is this happening?
Because the lot split is part of the project, and the ARB's comments on the lot split are relevant for things like site design, placement of structures, neighborhood compatibility. This is going to be a relatively small lot compared to other lots in the area. So those are the types of things that the ARB would have comments or should provide comments on in relation to the lot split, kind of like site design. And then also because the project's kind of like a 3-part package deal.
I have an additional question. Did I hear you correctly say that the minimum lot size this could be proposed at was 7,000 square feet, and this is coming in at 7,001?
That is correct.
Okay. Third question, just seeing in terms of site design, I see that with the proposed lot split that there is a extension of the deck that goes into the side yard setback. Is that problematic in any way?
Good catch. I will have to look at that.
Okay. Thank you. And I think those are my questions for now. Did you have anything to add to Cindy's presentation? Now would be your opportunity to do so.
I guess a response to the deck, I believe we are under, I'm blanking on the exact number now, but I think it was like 2 feet of overhang into the deck, and we are within that, so we can add that number into that dimension on the site plan.
Yeah, I'll have to see if deck overhangs count as, normally it's a roof overhangs. This is what we allow in the side yard, not deck overhangs.
As a landscape architect, I've been told from ground plane to sky, and I know the roof is part of the structure, but
Yeah. Yeah, we do. We'll let eaves hang over, but
okay. Okay. Did you have anything else to?
No, just that I guess primarily, again, our big question here is the feasibility of the lot split. We still need to develop the rest of the drawings for the floor plans and elevations, as these are kind of a conceptual pass based on, client's inspiration and the direction they want to take. So I think once we have that lot split, that we can do it, that's the next step is really doing a deeper dive into the rest of the plan. Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll start public comment. My first speaker slip tonight is Keith Stein. You want to come up to the podium? And just as a reminder, we typically keep public comments to 3 minutes. If
Sure.
you could do that, thank you so much.
First of all, I want to thank you all for your volunteer work here. My brother sat where you're sitting right now, and I know how much work he put into it. So I really appreciate your volunteering. And I'll keep it short. We were given notice on Saturday, and we weren't really aware that this was going to happen. So we really haven't had enough time to digest the ramifications of this. So I'd appreciate if we could just defer for another month until we had enough time to study this issue. Our little cul-de-sac, it's shaped like a light bulb, and a long, narrow neck, and then a little bulb at the top. So in the past, we've already had traffic issues, UPS, all the delivery people, trash trucks, construction. It just impacts that little street. And we've had 2 people backing out of our driveway, backing into cars that have been parked directly across because there's just no room for traffic or for parking. So that's a big issue for the residents there. So if we introduce another structure, another house, we're going to have not only the people living there, but the visitors and, you know, everything that entails. So that's really going to impact all of us if we do consider this lot split. So amongst other things, I think I'll keep it short. But again, thank you for listening to all this. Bye.
Thank you so much. I know I have big shoes to fill here after Brad, so I appreciate that. Next up, I have, oh, gotta get the glasses back on. Ann Maloney,
The Woodsiac.
thank you.
Common pronunciation.
Could you say it one more time for me?
Sure. The Woodsiac.
The Woodsiac.
I was a Maloney for a long time, but I mastered the Woodsiac.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you to get that microphone in your face, too.
Oh, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I live across the street on the other side of Cajon, and there are people here that are more knowledgeable than I am that are going to talk about this. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the extra house and the extra driveway and the traffic impact and the parking impact that that's going to have. Cajon is called that. There's a reason. It's a very short, small street. Now, parking, there's space constraints and parking constraints. There's a finite amount of street parking on the little street. So that right now, there are 6 houses on Cajon. There are only 4 driveways. There isn't even room for 6 driveways. There are the other 2 driveways on the houses on the corner open onto Concha Loma. Oh, sorry. All right, there's 6 houses, 4 driveways open onto Cajon.
Right.
The corner houses, their driveways open onto Concha Loma. Those 4 driveways restrict the parking space. There is a fire hydrant in front of my house, and that eliminates approximately 30 feet of street parking. Now, when the street was built in the 50s, most families had 1 car, maybe 2, but a lot has changed. And we didn't have UPS and Amazon and everybody, and I don't know what size the garbage trucks were. They probably always had to either come down to the end and make a tight turn in the circular area or back slowly onto Concha Loma, which, as everybody knows, is sort of a thoroughfare through the Concha Loma and has poor visibility coming off the street. So my concern, in addition to adding another house, which will increase cars, traffic, parking problems, is also driveway space, street parking. Let's see if there was anything else I wanted to add here. Just sort of an off-the-wall comment. I am aware of the problem of homelessness. I'm aware of the pressure on municipalities like Carpinteria to provide more housing. This is not that. Jamming a multi-million-dollar single-family residence into this tiny little lot on this tiny street isn't going to do anything to alleviate the problem of homelessness. And I guess that's all I had. The only other question I had was whether we can get I didn't understand the name of the architect. I'm sorry, sir, I didn't get your name either.
My name is Ricardo, and I'm with Ryan Brockett Architects and Interiors.
Ryan, spell Brockett for me.
Brockett.
All right, I guess what I said had to do with neighborhood compatibility.
Okay,
Thank
perfect.
you.
Thank you, Ann. Next up, I have John Barrison. John Barrison.
I'll get there. Deaf and old. John Barrison, and I'm at 5547 Calhoun next door. And I've been there for over 50 years, so we have a little different insight than most people. My first point here is that we received the notice for this meeting on a Saturday, and this meeting is 4 business days after that, and I don't think that's quite enough time to gather all the information. Point number 2, and the current present CCNRs of Consoloma run with the land, and they are, per the county recorder anyway, just like an easement. They do not cease to exist just because someone else has managed to build a 2-story. So I noticed that in the opening statement that the existing house is noted as a 2-story based on a 1988 law case. Owner's architect has called the first level a basement, and I note that he has far more knowledge as to the defined basement than a judge. Additionally, entry door to basement is only 6 foot, and it does not meet code, and therefore not a livable room entry. Plus, the ceiling height inside the basement is just a little bit over the top of my head. And if we're playing ping pong down there, I bump my head. So, been there for a while. It's not a livable area. So this residence was built at a time when people abided by the CCNRs, and they only built a single story. My point here is this is not a 2-story, and owner should not use it as proof to build an additional 2-story right up next to my kitchen. And right now it's all open, it's nice orange trees and all that. Anyway, I sincerely hope the owner was presented with the CCNRs when he closed to escrow. That would be up to the real estate agent and is a legal necessity. Hilltop of Consoloma is slipping slowly toward the ocean. I am sure that some of the problem is lack of drainage of rainwater from the area. In late 2024, a city paved the street, raising it over 4 inches. Now that 4 inches created a lake in front of my garage, and I've had to dig special trenches and drains. The line from my neighbor, Ann, down to the drain down there is 7 1/4 inches. So there is a water flow. However, that's going to create a problem. Instead of repairing the drainage, what they did is they put in an open cistern. And this holds the water and lets it seep into the soil, which liquefies the soil. And therefore that adds to, and this is a fairly recent situation, but I've got a drop off the back of my house at, it's probably only 3.5 inches, but still, it's sliding to the ocean. And I've written a letter to the city when they started paving that so that we're on record that if there's a problem, then we can note it. Anyway, where'd I lost my point here? Okay, all right, here's the other point. The left side of the primary residence, which is going to be the driveway down to the new house, is slipping like crazy. They put in a bunch of steel a number of years ago, and the steel was anchored at, say 45 degrees. It's now about 60 degrees vertical. So the hillside is pushing back. So whatever they do to that, it's going to need some kind of soldier piles or something going all the way to China because it's still slipping. Now, the rain and all that stuff is going to come down that hill in front of that new house, and it's going to puddle. And if it's kind of like my place, it'll probably have to go in the front door. It's not going to be pleasant. There are additionally no existing corner stakes. The stakes between my house and the new house driveway are non-existent. I don't know why, but everybody's looked for them. So any deviation over toward the Robitaille residence or the new residence will cause the property line or the split level not to be existent. It won't be legal. Now, the reason that I bring that up, our house, when we moved in, over the time period that we've been there, we have had 2 property line movements after a survey of 3 feet. Yes, our back lot and our side lots were 3 feet off each after a survey. Now, if you can't find those stakes, where do we go? Your point.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next speaker slip is Keith and Leslie Marvin.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Oh, sorry. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being here and hearing us out. And thank you, everyone so far that has contributed their concerns about this project. Leslie and I closed escrow on what is to be our future dream retirement home. We closed escrow in June 10th of 2025. And we actually have plans in for final with the city through our architect, adding some square footage and to make this house our dream retirement house for ourselves and our 4 kids to come visit who are all in their 20s now. But
And it's directly below.
sorry, we're at 5538 Canalino Drive.
It would be directly below the proposed new second residence.
And right now, we could look up from our backyard at the hillside, and now the new structure on the small 7,000 square foot lot, we'd be looking at 24.5 feet of structure instead of beautiful mountains. And boy, we didn't sign up for that at all. So, and the existing structure, I don't know how much that needs to be changed, but it's really the new structure on the right, the 7,000 square foot lot that we have issued. And what is the distance between either the deck or the property line and our property line? We're directly below that, just south of that. What is that? When is
So
there-
from
to our-
that corner right there
Yeah.
to the back property line is 15 feet.
What is code?
15 feet
15 feet.
is the setback.
I just also want to say that when we came up with the design for our proposed house, the changes and modifications, we wanted to be very respectful of the neighborhood and respectful of, staying one story and also keeping in line with what the neighborhood is, which is a charming, it's a charming little neighborhood that people have lived in, and their families move down the street and their siblings move down the street. And the idea that it's kind of becoming more of a crowded space is actually less charming than we were hoping for.
Yeah, we certainly weren't expecting anything like this, but hopefully the board will take all this into consideration, both what we had to say, and I know I've talked to my neighbors on both sides of me John Conti and Sarah Killen, and they have also raised concerns. So hopefully you take all this into consideration with your decision, especially on the split.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so bringing it back to the board, who would like to provide their comments first? Anybody? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Are there any public comments on Zoom? I was getting so good at that, now I forgot.
Now is the time for public comment. If you would like to make a statement, you can please raise your hand and we will allow you to do so. We have one Kyle Zuvella. Kyle Zuvella, you can go ahead.
Oh, can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, great. Hi, everybody. I'm Kyle. My wife and I own the property that we're talking about. I just wanted to say, you know, we had lived in Carpinteria for on and off for 6 years. We developed a property on 5th Street, put all of our life savings into it. The reason I mention it is we're not like out of town developers. We love Carp. We love the Bluffs. We love the downtown. We love that it's been developed in a responsible way. You know, our intention with this concept review was to get the feedback and see how we can navigate it. You know, I'm hearing the street parking concerns, the views, and, you know, ensuring some of the landscaping that we currently have that we can actually add to and, you know, make it in a way where the house is not obtrusive and is not, you know, looking into any particular house, whether it's John and Virginia on the side or down below to Keith and Leslie. I am also surprised the notice coming out on Saturday for the short notice. I just wanted to personally say I'm available and happy to talk to anybody individually, and also wanted to thank the board for taking a look at this as we're just, you know, thinking through different ideas of how to use this. It's our dream that we want to keep one of these houses and live in it. We love Carpinteria. Our son's grown up there. And this was our path to doing so at the top of Concha Loma, where after living there for years is where we wanted to be. So anyway, just wanted to thank the board. Sorry for rambling, and also mention to our neighbors that I'm available if anybody wants to talk. I think everybody should have my phone number, but yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Question for the owner? Can we?
Oh,
can
we
ask a
typically don't do
question?
that over Zoom, but yeah, I suppose we could.
Since
Is he
the
still
owner-
available?
Yeah, I mean, we should
He is
just treat
still-
him like he's sitting at the table.
Yeah, okay.
I think so.
Kyle, are you still on Zoom?
Oh yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, some of the board members may have some questions for you. A board member Wolf has a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Kyle, thanks for joining on Zoom, but I'm curious why you're not here in the room. This seems pretty important.
Yeah, we moved out of state for some health issues, and so flying all the way back was not tenable at this time. Our son just started school, and we had a few other appointments. But yeah, I wish I was there.
And how long have you owned the property?
We closed on it. That's a really good question. About a year ago. My dates might be a little off. It might have been 10-ish months ago, but fall of last year.
Okay. Just curious if this is obviously the people in the room, which are your new neighbors and your new friends forever. Obviously, they're not in agreement with the second residence idea. Is there another possibility for you if that's denied with the lot split?
Honestly, probably not. We'd probably just have to sell the property. We transparently kind of extended ourselves when this property came available. We just thought it was too perfect of a location in Concha Loma. I mean, there's probably 8 or 10 houses there at the top of the hill in Concha Loma, and that was the neighborhood we wanted to live in after living on Fifth Street for a number of years. But it's also very expensive to be up there. So our thought was, develop a home. We also, we've done houses in the past. We like to use natural materials, and we call them like healthy home practices with the way that we build. So our idea was that we could build a house, a healthy home for a potential neighbor that would then, as you said, be with us forever. We did, try to take into account views across the street. There's a gigantic avocado tree that doesn't fruit, which is very frustrating. Usually we like to add landscaping, but in this case, our plan was to bring that tree down and add hedges, so opening up the view between the two houses. And our hope as well, and we've already actually planted ficus that would, grow in a way that would provide some landscaping and privacy so that anything on the street level view looking down or around, you wouldn't be able to see anything. And so, but long-winded comment, I don't think it's tenable for us. Our first idea was to build an ADU on that side, like 1,000 square foot ADU, and rent it and try to make all the payments work. And it was just, when we really looked at the math, it didn't seem like that would work. So we thought, build a house, a healthy home for a potential neighbor, and in the same vein, be able to live in the existing house after the fact was our thought. And it did evolve a little bit, but that's kind of where we landed.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for the owner?
Yeah, this is Giorgio Fantoni. Hi. Just in terms of, it is a very challenging development for you, but you've also challenged yourself with the architectural style. You've actually had me research what Tudor style is. And what I've seen so far from my research is to really accomplish that type of style, you have to very, very religious in terms of capturing the essence of that style. So I guess as we go further with the review, we'll make more comments off of that. But why Tudor style?
Yeah, that's a really fair question. I think the way I would frame it, and my wife is saying this to me, which I think is fair, is it's supposed to be kind of like Carpinteria by the sea, like a charming cottage. I don't know if I would use the term Tudor for what we're looking to do. And I forgot how Cindy framed it, but kind of whimsical, but still clean. We had a house on Fifth Street. It's one of those three that when the street pops out, and we were proud of how it came out. That's kind of like, it was more natural, used some of the lots and lots of landscaping. And so that would be kind of one place to look and say, hey, that's how that one came out, at least, and what we're going for. I mean, we think Carpinteria is such a special place. It's charming, it's slower, it's more natural. It's just kind of like an ideal place for kids to grow up. And I think it's by the sea, but it's not pretentious. It's not austere. It's not Montecito or Summerlin. So I think I'm kind of butchering this, but we really want to have that whimsical, cute cottage that looks beautiful and still clean, but is still approachable and natural and organic. So I don't know if that totally answers your words, but we didn't really ever think of it as a Tudor style, and we can make sure to kind of update any documents in the future to make sure that that's shown with the concept and the renderings, etc.
Okay, any other questions for the homeowner? No, I don't think I have any either, so thank you so much, Kyle. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.
And now I'm bringing it back to the board for comments. Do you want to go first? Okay, I believe in you.
My comment is that sometimes the newest person in the neighborhood makes the biggest change, and then is the very first one to leave. And it drives me crazy when that happens. And I can tell with this neighborhood that these people have been there a long time and will be there for a lot longer, and aren't looking for a change, and aren't looking to, it's not going to be that easy for them to support the Zavellas who need to make money on this one, or are trying to cover their costs of the original purchase of the property. I just have a feeling that this is the wrong approach in this particular neighborhood, and my comments is I don't mind the design at all. I don't. I just don't think that it's appropriate in this particular neighborhood to try to do this for the new guy. I don't think the new guy should come in and do this. And I hope that there's some other way that the Zavellas can make it work, even if it's an ADU, or remodeling their own house and renting it out. Anyway, that's my comment.
Thank you. Board Member Little, would you like to go next?
I've been by that house several times. Like I said earlier, I had actually toured it when it was on the market, and looked at different ideas of possibly even elevating, jacking up the original house, so making the downstairs feasible. But the adding of the unit next door, given the slope and also the size of the street, it's definitely a concern to me. It's a very small street as far as the other neighbors have commented on. And also the height of it, of the new unit, is a little concerning, and I'm just curious about why they did not even consider digging down a little lower to drop that bottom floor, and then also stepping back from the first floor, moving it back so it's more of a, I guess, a cake, layered cake level. Yeah, wedding cake level. So that would probably help minimize the massiveness from the street side. There's a huge, I think, cypress tree in somebody's backyard, which is a beautiful tree, which I think would help mask some of the look from the downside. But still, as the new neighbor's son down in Catalino mentioned, it is would be an imposing object on their side. As far as the Tudor look, I thought it was a little too cutesy. It's something that more appropriate for maybe the Solving area. The existing house, it's basically just a nice looking little ranch house. So that could be replicated if they go ahead with the addition of that house. And the idea that they just squeak by for the minimum lot size is just kind of a little irritating, that by 1 foot you qualify to put a place there. So if especially if the planning commission would agree to put in a house there, I would certainly strongly advise downsizing the entire residence so it's not so large on the lot itself.
All right. Thank you. Board Member Fantoni.
Yeah, just first off, a question to staff. Your presentation package there is different from what we received in terms of format and setup. Is that
Made some changes a little
Okay.
Are you talking about the inspirational images?
No, just the whole package.
Well, I didn't
it's-
include all the sheets, but I
But,
kind of kept
yeah.
the how I did your package. I did the lot split first, and then the existing residence, and then the
Right.
proposed residence. For the colors and materials and inspirational images, in my presentation, I didn't include any of the interior because it doesn't really
So your
matter.
presentation, you reformatted it essentially, because it's got that kind of nice sort of thing on the side. Where I'm getting at
Oh,
is,
okay.
where I'm getting at is, to me, it's the first impression of what this project is, based on what we're receiving as a board. So when I looked at this whole package, I see a title block, which is great, and then I see the rest of the drawings of the plans, and there seemed to be no consistency in terms of. I've actually looked at your website. You guys do stunning work, and I'm surprised that this is not reflecting what you guys do. It feels like this is packaged by and designed by two people at least, or many. So it's like first date, right? You try to impress somebody. I'm not impressed with the package. I understand the drawing because I'm trained to do that, but overall, I think if you want to present something, got to be stunning, got to be impressive, right? So, as you can see, I red marked everything, but we're not going to go through that. It's just a habit that I have in terms of the opportunities that you have for this project is incredible. It's amazing. But the challenges that you have on top of the design is the appropriateness of the architecture. And considering two-door is not really what the client's looking for, something romantic but not technically two-door, then we can kind of scrub that off. I agree with staff in terms of street level. It's actually great because it's within the scale of your neighborhood. But once you go on the south side, that's when it gets massive. So you've got yourself some design challenges there in terms of how you make that work without making it look like a massive thing in the back. Hearing your neighbors, there's at least, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4 neighbors in the back that you'd be looking over, or vice versa. You're going to have some sightline kind of studies probably on both ends, because I did go to that street and photograph kind of visibility. I can see the existing house from the street, and with that said, everything's visible on both sides. Again, the opportunities that are missing, knowing the history now of the basement level, without kind of undermining the issue of the structural changes. Is there a vision for the client to take advantage of the 6 feet and turn that into a volumetric space? I know the view is stunning. That's why you want to elevate yourself most of the time. But there's nothing wrong having multiple platforms within the building itself. So you have different experiences, so to speak. You get the view, you get your landscaping, etc. And that goes with this new design. This is where you guys need to explore more, I think, just because it's literally just a box extruded. Nothing exciting about it. There's a lot of elements there that you can work with. The slope, the grade. I don't know how old that avocado tree is. It's a beautiful tree, actually. I mean, avocado is expensive. If you can preserve that tree and work around it within your design, hats off to you. I mean, that's going to be a great kind of element for this project, I think. And again, working with the slope as you come down, with having a view out to the ocean and mitigate your view towards the privacy of your neighbors, that's what architects need to do. Then I agree with Board Member Wolf about the package, considering this is just a test concept, but either way, I think it needs to be a very comprehensive package where you have your site plan, you have your roof plan, you have your cross sections so you know what's going on each elevation as this building and this land terraces down, and your relationship to your neighbors. Those are important, and we're three-dimensional, so I'm sure with all this computer-generated stuff, if you're using SketchUp, you should have all your 3Ds worked out already. So it'd be great to see that, and you can see where the issues are. And so when you come in front of us, there are things that aren't resolved, but majority of it are resolved. And we're not coming back and forth to each other. So with that said, I'm not going to delve on the architecture because, well, in terms of the facade of the existing that you're proposing, the interpretation of the style with where the rooms are, the windows, the higher entry, those are fine, but it feels more like random stuff. There's no kind of poetry to it or proportions. I mean, you get the diamond on top of the garage, but is that the right size, is that the right shape, is that the right location, et cetera. And so turn the corner, look at all the elevations, the roof plan, how it engages, everything. Landscaping is really important here as well, because now, is it the building all wall that you guys will look at, or is it a nice landscaping that can be as a screen for both properties and not affect the view of this new development? So, yeah. No, I think it's just unfortunate. There's a lot of potential for this site. There's a lot of options, alternates that you can do with this building, and I've done a couple of them already because it's an exciting site. It's an exciting project, but those are challenges that us architects will have to contend with. So, say good luck to this. Thanks.
Okay. My comments probably have more to do with the lot split. And I know one of the public comments, and also it was covered in our packets here, about the Concha Loma CC&Rs, which do exist, although there is no homeowners association now that keeps them in perpetuity, but they really are the reason Concha Loma looks the way it looks today, and where it came from. And I think one of the guiding rules that they had was no two-story buildings. That has been changed over the years, but I think the spirit of it is still there, in that if this potentially were a one-story building, you'd only be 1,100 square feet. It's only that you're getting a two-story building in this tiny little portion of lot that you only have 1 square foot over what's allowable. To me, it doesn't feel that it's compatible with the neighborhood at all. I think that there's a pastoral kind of beauty to what Concha Loma is, and jamming a two-story building in between your house and the lot next door isn't Concha Loma to me. I think the architectural style that's being proposed for the existing residents is fine. In going forward, I agree with one of the comments that the neighbors submitted, that having them both be the same style also doesn't really go with what Conchaloma is. I think if for some reason this does go forward, I think that they should be different. I don't think you should have two cookie cutter houses right next to each other. That isn't what Conchaloma looks like. In terms of, I mean, the architectural style and materials, again, on the one house, the existing house, I am fine with the direction they would want to go with that. I can't support the other structure, the lot line adjustment on this. I just don't think it's appropriate for the neighborhood. I don't think it's compatible with the neighborhood. I have a history of sort of making a point of when we see these projects that come in that are just trying to max out their square footage and max out as much as you can get on a parcel, it doesn't make for a successful living situation for either the residents or the neighbors. And I think that this is a prime example of that. You've gotten out to every corner you possibly can, and you've got a foot to work with between your square footage on the lot even. So to me, it's just a prime example of just trying to squeeze everything you can out of something, and I don't think it's appropriate. Those are my comments. I think we have to come up with some sort of motion. No, we do not, because it's concept.
Because it's concept, so you just
Awesome.
share your concepts, and
Those are my
those are your
our
comments.
comments.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate you coming in. Thank you. And thank you to the neighborhood for coming in and giving us your feedback as well. I appreciate it. Please.
So, because of all of you neighbors that are sitting in here, and you are nervous, clearly, and you're still nervous, because nothing really came of this. This was a lot of going around in circles. I think a great thing for all of you is to meet with Mr. Zavella, Kyle, and come up with some type of a solution that may work. Or if you're going to continue to be down on the project, then you let him know so he doesn't spin his wheels. And that's all. And so, Kyle, if you're listening, then you get this group together, because this is a really strong neighborhood. And they have a lot of seniority, shall we say. And so I think that's what's going to help your project move along, is to have you all in some type of agreement before you come in again. Yeah. That's all. Thank you for coming in. So there you have it. There's something. I'm throwing you a bone of some sort.
Well, thank you for your.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, next, did Board Member Little and Board Member Wolf, have you had an opportunity to look at the meeting minutes that were in your package? Yeah, they're catching up. They got a little behind for some of the long ones we had. So I am not allowed to vote on the one there where I was absent, but for the meeting dated February 12th, can one of you make a motion? If there were only two of us that were at the meeting, can we vote on, can we approve minutes or no? This may be why this may have happened.
Yes, well, yeah, there's only two of you. So when Vice Chair O'Connor returns, we'll bring it back then.
Okay, and then I can make a motion for, but it's the same thing for the next one, because it's just me and Richard here. Yeah, okay, so both of these are going to have to go.
The one February, I was there, but I was remote.
Yeah, but I wasn't there.
Oh, so there's only two of us.
Yeah, and the same thing with the other one. You weren't there, but I was there, but there's still just the two of us. So we can't approve either one of those yet, but they looked good to me. Okay. Matters by Planning Commission. I'm assuming we don't have anything. Matters by staff, we already did. Matters presented by board members. I already said my thing. I think we should put matters by staff higher up on the agenda, because that's how we do it every time, and that way I wouldn't have to remember every time.
I do have a question for staff. There is a required amount of time that this information has to get to the neighborhood. Is that
Yeah.
correct? What is that time?
Yeah, so for the ARB, the notices go out, they go in the mail the Thursday before the meeting. And that's also when everything gets posted to the website by Thursday night, usually by 6 o'clock. And then the mailings go out. So they said they didn't get them till Saturday. I'll check with Lorena because if it went out in Thursday's mail, if it's local, they should have received it Friday, I would imagine.
It did go out on Thursday.
It did. Okay.
On time if it's,
So then maybe that's part of, we have been having slow mail problems, not just with the city mail, but why it took 3 weeks for my dad's birthday card to get to South Carolina, I can't explain.
Yeah,
But there's things happening with the postal system right now. So we can check with Lorena tomorrow and see. Cause,
I know that they went out.
okay. So, but I just want to know if she knows anything about mail delays or anything going on. But yeah, we put them in the mail on the Thursday and then. But that's
okay?
yeah, that's how per
Standard.
the code or
That's part of our code. Our code has laid that out. That's what the adopted regulations by the decision makers is telling staff what to do, and that's what we do.
and then
Including the distance of the notification from the property line, the occupants, and the owners.
owners within 300 feet and occupants within 100 feet. For planning commission, there is, I believe it's the Thursday, like a weekend, the Thursday before the Monday meeting. It has to be in the coastal view. So the planning commission notices do get published earlier, but their mailings also go out the Thursday. So for planning commission, it's actually shorter notice because their packets go out on Thursday and then they get it in the mail over the weekend and then the meeting's Monday.
Monday, yeah.
Yeah.
So another comment, because of this notice, Mr. Zavala couldn't be here, nor could the architect. They could have pulled this whole concept review it would have been to their advantage to have been here, clearly. And so I'm just wondering, what just happened? And did they know that they could have pulled it?
They, we actually were planning on going to the meeting on the 13th of August, but then there weren't enough items to warrant having a meeting, so then we moved it to the 27th with these matter by staff that we had. But yes, and always with any applicant, we always coordinate on the date before we set the hearing date to make sure that they're available. So Kyle's in Maui, and Ryan is, I believe he's based out of San Luis. And then I think Ricardo came up from down south somewhere. So that's where the geography is.
And can we move on? Okay, just checking, sorry. Next board meeting is potentially, September 10th?
We are discussing potentially having a meeting on September 17th. There's one project. We're trying to merge that project with another project. It would be a month later. So it would be either we're going to have a small project for review next month on the 17th, or we're going to have two projects to review in October. And right now we're working on getting that solidified with the applicants so that we don't bring you together for a very short meeting. That we're also trying to bring together a couple of matters by staff at that same time. So
Okay.
hopefully
Are
we
you
can do that, but I'll keep you posted
available?
so that you can make plans too.
Are we able to?
I know I will not be there on the 7th.
Okay, so
Okay.
Louisa, are you available?
Okay.
Jojo and I are available that day?
September 17th.
Yes, and Richard, so
October's not.
there's at least three of us,
Okay.
and we'll see what Patrick says. Okay. I'm going to adjourn the meeting.
Can we get an updated list?
Yeah, if you don't mind waiting, I can print one out for you right now.
But
No, this next meeting would be fine.
Okay, or I'll email them too if you want, but I'll print it too.